We can tell a sad news story.
We can tell a what?
We can tell a sad news story to bum Dave out before we start.
Oh man, I don't know if we want to start on that kind of foot.
Like we did that one.
Yeah, it was so sad.
Well, there's like a sad, happy thing that's going on. No, I probably shouldn't mention it because it has to do with like actual businesses and stuff. So
You can use fake names.
Or you can tell us in the break because that sounds juicy and I want to know.
Yeah, I know. Either way,
I think I already told you guys. So let's see here. We're recording now. We're talking. I'm not. We're trying to get something going here. Prompts. Watermelons. There's a black diamond watermelon apparently, and people keep talking about it. It's like the juiciest son of a bitch watermelon you ever had in your damn life, and it's like the best watermelon in the world. And I'm like, all right, like I haven't like sat down and been like, you know what, today is the day I want a watermelon. I really don't even think about the fruit on the regular unless it's like flavored in some kind of alcoholic drink because I'm a degenerate. But I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's try one of these black diamond watermelons. And I go to my store to go get one. Do you want to guess how much a black diamond watermelon is?
For a single watermelon?
Yes.
For an watermelon?
$8.
By the each.
$12
watermelon.
a pound.
Huh?
By the each?
Yeah, they sell them by the melon. I almost said ball.
$17.
Close, 15.
Oh.
Fucking $15 for a watermelon?
For a watermelon.
For a
Eat my
watermelon.
ass, man.
Like the other watermelons, like the classic ones with the ribs on the side, you know, they're like $3 a pound or some shit.
Wow.
I know, it's fucking crazy. You know what else is crazy?
The fact that August sucks because there's no F1 to watch.
Well, that, but there's plenty to go on, and we'll get to that now because you're listening to the Tire Preference Podcast.
Yeah.
Hooray.
I'm Jake along with Tyler and Dave. And we're here to talk about F1. Don't sound, too fucking excited, gents.
Like I said, there's nothing to watch but trying to hope some kind of news story comes along.
Are you fucking kidding me? Have you not been paying attention to the daytime soap opera that is the Piastri fiasco, which we're going to jump into pretty quickly?
God, that was awesome.
That was pretty funny to see that going on.
And we were just talking about it on the last podcast. And, like, where's he going to end up? We're pretty sure he's going to end up in Alpine. And he made that, we'll get into it, but he made that pretty clear that he wasn't, but he still might. And then I was like, oh, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's not going anywhere as far as McLaren goes. Turns out he might, but we'll get into it. There's just a lot of shit going on. And this is the off season.
This isn't the off season. This is the off month. This is summer break.
Sorry, this is summer
season.
break. This is summer break. This is
just past midway.
Yeah.
And so far, it has been all gas on this break.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
but before we get too into it, gents, we got to do the normal P's and Q's in the top half of the cast. What are y'all drinking?
What are we all drinking, huh?
I'm drinking
let's start
Bullet
with
Kentucky
Okay.
Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Or Tyler, we'll start with Tyler. I still have a bottle of that in my liquor cabinet that I forgot it was there until now. So
Pretty good.
So gross.
Dave.
Yeah.
I'm only drinking whiskey because I didn't want to stop by the store on the way home from work for beer. So.
All right. Well, I got a Breakside Pilsner.
Ooh, very nice.
Pills.
It's a delicioso. I like it. 5.2%.
Oh, nice.
Not like hitting hard, but good enough.
Hell yeah, brother.
Fucking right on, brother.
Oh yeah,
Right
and there's
on,
a
brother.
cool camper on the. It seemed appropriate.
Yeah, it looks like a Winnebago.
Well, whatever.
It does look. Yeah, it's like a square Winnebago. Like from
I got the
80s.
classic
From the
some
70s.
Peebs.
Yeah, nice. Champagne of the Midwest.
Yeah, we in the pounder cans.
Nice.
The pounder cans.
Yeah, Tyler and I call them pounder cans because they're 16 ounces.
Yeah, pints. They're
Yeah,
delicious.
we call them pounders. I don't know why, but we always have.
'cause
Pounders.
they're
I
dumb.
like it.
Someone told me I was wrong, and the pounders are the little guys because you pound them. And I said, yeah, but they're only 12 ounces. It's not a pound, motherfucker. You
And then we
stupid
had the
motherfucker.
debate on like what the man can was, like what size that
That's
was.
the 24-ounce can.
Yeah, but did you know that they make a 32-ounce can and they sell it in Las Vegas? And I have had it.
Well, I guess the
That's a-
32 ounce is now the man can, and then the 24 is the tall boy.
I'd say they always had
Yeah.
those Miller Lite 32 ounces, didn't they?
Oh, yeah,
big
they do.
fat
yeah,
Mhm.
the glass bottle. There's a bar.
No,
in
they
That's a
Eugene-
come
high
in
life.
cans out here.
There's a bar in Eugene that used to, because legally the biggest amount, like container of alcohol you can sell in a restaurant is like 32 ounces, I think, or something like that, or maybe it's a little bit more. It's basically like a pitcher of beer is like the biggest that you can sell at one time.
Right.
It's like an OLCC thing, and this was just under that. But they would just, so you walk around this bar and there was people that had these just fucking big ass like giant fucking jugs of beer, and I used to think people were sneaking them in there, but
Nope.
nope.
Over at the old John Henry's.
The old John Henry.
The old John Henry's.
Um,
Great story. Cool folktale character.
Yes, John Henry.
Not remembered well in terms of that bar, though, because that had nothing to do with John Henry.
Let's say it was a railroad guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he beat the steam engine for tunneling or something like that.
Oh,
And then he
it was
died.
right.
It's a sad ending. Yeah, he worked himself to death beating
Not a
the
happy-
machine.
Moral of the story is the 40-hour work week is good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the machine comes along, you might be able to work faster than it, but you probably shouldn't.
Exactly. So work smart,
Anyway,
not hard. Damn
let's
it.
get back to you work smarter,
Yeah.
not harder. Use that machine to your advantage. Speaking of machines, race cars. We're talking
Talk about
racing.
some
We're talking
high-performance
F1.
ones.
We're talking Piastri. So we talked about this Oscar Piastri before and how he is going to probably end up at Alpine because
That's what
that's
everyone thought.
what everyone thought. And to talk more on the subject, I'm going to shoot it over to Tyler, who has done about 5 minutes more of reading than Dave or I have. So he is currently the expert in the room.
So here's how that goes down. During the summer break, it's not often to hear about, or not uncommon to hear about people like driver lineups changing, because this is
Right.
usually right around when they start announcing like contract extensions or people moving to other teams and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, if you know the F1 Netflix show, and we've heard from us in this podcast, money and talent are really the things that keep you in F1. And
Yes.
sometimes one will outweigh the other, and other times, like, hey, you might be doing okay, but you know, you might not. So the whole thing got triggered by Sebastian Vettel announcing that he was retiring.
Mhm.
So then that originally left a seat over at Aston Martin. So we're all kind of cruising along thinking that Aston Martin was going to be filling a seat. And then the next, I think it was at the end of the race weekend, like on Monday or Tuesday, that's when it got announced that
I think it was
Fernando
Tuesday. It was
Alonso.
after we podcasted.
I think it was after we podcasted.
I think
Yeah,
we
that,
podcasted on a Wednesday because I know
Oh shit! Yeah.
that the Vettel thing happened, and then that happened on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, because I remember reading this specifically, and Lawrence Stroll got a call from, or he made a call to Alonso on Wednesday, and then Alonso announced on a Thursday.
Well, we podcasted on Monday because I got it out by Thursday.
Yeah, it
so.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So regardless of what day of the week,
you need to go take care of that, Dave. Well, it doesn't get any more real life than this. Do you want to tell the viewers why we had to have a short break there, Dave?
Well, yeah, that crazy noise you might have heard in the background was my dog hacking up whatever was stuck in his throat, her throat,
thing.
and yeah, and it all ended up on the on the bed there, so that's awesome. Got that up.
Remember
I didn't
Remember
clean it
last
up.
week?
My lovely wife cleaned it up, but I almost puked.
Was it last week or the week before that your dog had explosive shits all over the floor?
That was the
It was
week
the week
before.
before.
Last. Yeah, that was when that was the night my dad and brother got in town.
Yeah, that's right. Your dog just reared all over the floor of your trailer.
Oh man, that was luckily it was on a thing we could pull out and hose off. It didn't get on like the floor or anything.
That's
At least
Well,
not
thank
too
God
bad.
for that.
Yeah. Anywho, we were on about Alonso talking to Stroll, and then the unthinkable happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alonso, or I guess Jake was saying Lawrence Stroll called Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, it was
shortly
the day
Vettel.
after. It was the day after the announcement because Vettel's like, "I'm out," and Lawrence is like, "This is incredibly disagreeable." So,
I was supposed to let one person go at the end of this season.
if I can't have the second or third oldest race car driver on this grid, I will have the oldest race car driver on the grid because I am also old. And then he Zoidberged a whole pack of hot dogs.
Nice. So then news comes out shortly after that, like after the race weekend, that Fernando Alonso is going over to
Austin Martin.
Thank you, Austin Martin. And him and Lawrence Stroll have been friends for a long time, so we think that might have had something to do with it. Rumor has it too that maybe like Alpine and Renault are not going to be in F1 for very much longer. Was one of the rumors that was So at any rate, there was an open seat at Alpine because Esteban Ocon is still there. And on Facebook, they announced that their backup driver from Australia, Oscar Piastri. Anyway, Oscar. They announced that Oscar was going to be their driver, and they announced it on Facebook. And Oscar was like, "I didn't sign any paperwork. I'm not your guys' driver next year." Which that has got to be insane. This is the first time I've ever seen something like that happen in F1 where everyone's vying for seats. Everyone wants to be in F1. That's like in the feeder leagues. It's like your goal. And then all of a sudden you get announced that you're the driver, and then you're like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah.
I'm not driving for you next year.
Well, I think that, so if anyone didn't know, his manager is one Mark Webber, who was a former Red Bull driver with Vettel when they were racing for the championship. So the dude's been in it and he knows about it. And I think, like, so why would you say no? One of the reasons could be that Alpine isn't going to stay in F1 for another year or two, and any contract that they set might become null and void when the team gets sold. So there's no guarantee that he's going to be on that team.
Yeah.
They might can him, and the team might bring on two new drivers. So I think it's dumb because he's 21 years old. This is like the chance of a lifetime to get on the F1 grid. But I can see where, like, he would be, well, I'd rather go for job security than get signed on to a team. It's only going to be here for a year and then get fucked up by contract.
Yeah. Or the point also that I would think is that, he's not letting he's not going to let the team bully him into signing the contract and be like, "Well, it's on Facebook, so now you have to do it."
Now you have to.
Angle,
Right.
So,
Tyler, the French.
you
must sign the contract. It is on the Facebook.
The contract.
It's on the Facebook.
Contractually obligated.
Do not bullshit me. Yeah.
So that was interesting to watch. It's now coming out too that, like, an interview with the Alpine team boss, Otmar
That
guy.
Yeah.
The guy that you're thinking of, the guy who used to be over at Aston Martin. there might be a court battle over this because of the amount of money that Alpine had invested in him doing test drives and stuff with him, as far as like getting a car and a team of engineers to a track somewhere and organizing hotels and shit like that.
Right.
So
They were going to
be...
pass him off to another team for a year anyway. So
yeah. So the reason that Oscar Piastri decided not to go to Alpine at this time that we are recording this podcast, which is on a Monday evening, August 8th, because
8822.
there is rumor, there is some people talking about it on the internet. There is some news places that are talking about it, but not enough for me to say that this is factual and happening. This is still a rumor at this point. But the rumor is that he did not sign with Alpine because he has a contract with McLaren, and McLaren is going to drop Daniel Ricciardo at the end of the season.
Yeah. So I was going to remember to introduce this, but I forgot. But we are firmly in rumor corner.
Yeah, this rumor corner.
The rumor realm.
It's
the
not something that I just pulled out of my ass earlier. Like there was in looking around on, where I usually find F1 news to talk about stuff on the podcast, which is mostly just Googling F1 news.
Yeah.
There's a couple places that are loosely talking about it, but it's not having been widely reported, and there's nothing official from either Daniel Ricciardo or McLaren or Oscar Piastri yet. So that's why this is staying at rumor corner, but it is sounding like sorry, I'm not even going to say that. Rumor has it that that's why Piastri didn't sign with Alpine. Otherwise, he better have something fucking good lined up.
Yeah.
Because,
no fucking shit.
there ain't a whole lot of openings on the grid right now.
No, I think there's 4, maybe 5 openings.
So you got Schumacher's seat, Tsunoda's seat, Latifi's, Albon just signed, Ocon's staying with Alpine till 2024. And all the main cars, the top 3, all their drivers are staying put. So
yeah, all their drivers are safe for another at least 2 years.
Really, honestly, looking at the grid the way that it is right now, I think the only really open seat next year is going to be that second Williams seat, because it's also been announced yesterday, I think it was, that Alex Albon now has a contract extension with Williams. So Alex Albon will be at Williams for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least a few years. Yeah.
Latifi's up in the air, and I don't think Latifi will continue.
Everything I've read is saying he's not expected to come back next year, at least with Williams. I don't know if he's got a lot of money to pull somewhere else, but
he does. That's how he got into F1 in the first place.
But I mean,
not a good reputation to have for the Canadian drivers who had their dads buy both their seats.
But like, we're saying like Tsunoda's contract is Tsunoda seems to be doing okay, brings a good amount of money from Japan into F1, so I think he's fairly safe. Zhou Guan Yu, I think, had the 1-year contract as well.
I guarantee they'll. Well,
they might keep him. He's doing really well.
He's doing well.
He's also bringing in a lot of money for the team.
Yeah, Chinese money.
Chinese drivers. So.
Yeah, and bumping up the socials credit score for Formula One in China.
Yeah. So I think that Williams is the only seat, and I mean, if I were Piastri, I would not have turned down an Alpine contract for a Williams contract.
Absolutely
not. But so, say that he does go to McLaren, where does Ricciardo go?
So that was the other news story that they were alluding to, was that because Lewis Hamilton has no signs of stopping, I think they were making it sound like Ricciardo maybe was wanting to get a seat at Mercedes. Highly unlikely it'll happen. But honestly, I think that if he leaves F1, I bet either he goes to IndyCar or he's a big NASCAR fan. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him in a NASCAR.
To lose both Vettel and Ricciardo in the same season would just devastate me.
It'd be very devastating.
It's going to be hard to handle.
those guys have been around ever since we started watching, and I really wanted to see Ricardo become a world champion, but at the same time, if F1 ain't right for him, I mean, if he went to NASCAR, I'd probably start watching a few NASCAR events just to see how he does.
I honestly think that, so in Australia, they have what they call supercar races, and they're basically just a bunch of like souped up Holdens, and that's super popular. So I could see him doing something like that too, getting inside the cage and riding a closed wheel, closed cockpit car, American Le Mans or something like that. I don't know if he'll necessarily jump over to NASCAR or IndyCar.
Earlier in the season, that's what the rumor mill was talking about, was that he would be considering a run into NASCAR.
Right. Maybe he'll race for Haas.
Maybe, yeah.
NASCAR.
But I mean, he'd be a big personality. He'd have to change his racing number, but I think that he would do really well there. Or
did they retire Earnhardt's number when he died or something?
I mean, Earnhardt's he's number 3. Like, I don't think anyone else could be number 3. I think it's also out of respect that no one else is number 3 in NASCAR.
Is there no one else in number 3 in NASCAR?
No, I don't think so.
Well, fuck, I
bet he takes number 33, something like that, or he takes 44 in case Lewis Hamilton ever wants to. I can see him doing something cute and funny like that. So yeah, that's what I got on that.
Maybe he does like the number 33, but one of the 3s is the same color as the livery, so you can't see it.
But I will keep an eye on what happens as far as like if there's any sort of court ruling of Alpine versus Piastri or whatever team Piastri ends up at.
Right.
I bet you there's going to be a ton more shit to come out in the coming weeks and days.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll probably get like a big news drop tomorrow about something.
Once we end the podcast tonight, something will happen.
Yeah,
fuck that. We'll get on for a special 20-minute update. And we'll throw it in there at the end.
Yeah, we'll do weekend. We'll do F1 weekend update or something.
Yeah, yeah, a little mini breaking news episode, 10 minutes long.
Mini-sodes.
Yeah.
All right. Well. So yeah, that's basically like the big news story that's happening right now. As we said earlier, it is the summer break. So this time of year is really feast or famine for as far as like news stories go. Like we said, a lot of
big one. There's a lot involved in that one too. So a lot to look at.
That one's there's multiple angles to that one with shit going on. So
especially with
there really is
so many drivers with question marks above their heads right now, so which I mean you can probably cut half of those out just by saying they're probably gonna stay.
Like I mean there's as much as we would like to see some fresh faces, like there's no way that like Lance Stroll is going
which sucks to be because that
huge falling out.
That would improve the grid so much, getting rid of him.
Not having to listen to his radio. Shut up and leave me alone.
I think the only way it would happen is if like Lawrence Stroll entered his little Chateau de la Motor Carriage or whatever the fuck the French word for motorhome is.
Well, I look at it.
And he gets in there and he's like assistant, and they're like, yes, sir. And he's like, where's my pack of Nathan's all beef hot dogs? And like, your son got angry and threw them in the trash. And he goes, no, and just like starts violently shaking because that was the only pack of Nathan's they have in the entire whatever the fuck country they're in currently.
Yeah,
and
he's fucking hoarding them.
He just walks through walls like destroying them like the Kool-Aid Man until he finds his son and fucking kills him or like laser eyes him into a pack of hot dogs and consumes them in one gulp.
You know what would be fun to watch on as far as the off season goes? Would be Lawrence Stroll and Jos Verstappen just fighting. Just fucking
one of those men has an assault charge, and I'm sure the other one has killed plenty of ladies of the night without being caught.
It'd just be fucking hilarious to watch him just having a drunken fight like outside of the fucking paddock somewhere.
I think that they should have all of the F1 bosses like have a battle royale.
Oh yeah, I would love to watch Christian
Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, like seeing Christian Horner and Toto Wolff. That'd be a fucking grudge match. Like,
I know.
They would almost fight during the weigh-in.
Toto Wolff would fight with a fucking turtleneck on, like a black long sleeve turtleneck.
Yeah.
Can you imagine showing up to some place in a
there with
short
jeans
sleeve
on and like bare knuckles?
Yeah, a sleeveless turtleneck. Do those even exist? So one thing that is not going to be happy for any Ferrariers out there is Matteo Bonito saying that there's no need to change anything for the approach in the second half of 2022.
It's because he knows they're so fucked and they're so like, far behind.
There's nothing we need to change. He's like, we're doing really well. I don't know what there is to change. And it's like, Jesus, man, are you watching the same fucking race as we are? Do you notice that there's a distinct lack of red on the fucking podium?
Yeah. Here's the direct quote. There's nothing to change. I think it's always a matter of confidence, learning, building experience, building skills.
You know what?
No, it's not. It's like strategist or something.
You invented this sport longer than any other team, and you're still racing like it's the 70s. Fuck no. Figure your shit out.
I do like the optimism of their social media team, because they posted a picture of like one of the Ferrari cars and it's like, could you name a more beautiful car on the grid? And everyone was just like, no, but we could all name better strategists. Was right. All of the comments under.
Yeah, it's a great looking car, and everyone gets to see it as they pass it by on the racetrack.
Yeah, or when it's in the pits, or when it's broken down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the videos that I liked that was floating around was, I think Jake sent it, or maybe I sent it to you guys or something, and it was someone was just like, they were looking at how Charles Leclerc spun out in the French Grand Prix, and like, I bet you could take off an airplane in that amount of distance. And someone's like, I'm gonna do it on Flight Simulator, and so they took off from where he went off the track and got air before they hit where he hit the barrier.
God damn it. So yeah, if you are really happy about the way the Ferrari's been treating themselves or carrying themselves this season, prepare to not be disappointed, because it's more
and
of the
if
same.
You still,
they're not going to change.
If you still feel that way about Ferrari, maybe you should watch the rest of the races of the season instead of just the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish we can go back to the first two. But then I even brought this up last week. The first two is like bittersweet, because did Ferrari do that because they were super good, or did they just happen to finish at that place because the biggest rivals didn't? They fucking couldn't build a car that came in. I think like toe-to-toe, same car. Charles Leclerc has the skill to outfox Max Verstappen. Maybe not in every scenario, but he's shown really smart racecraft in a few races. Like, what was it, the second race, where he was sacrificing the first DRS zone so he can get the second one because he knew his car was faster in the turns.
Yeah.
I mean, they battled each other.
Close fighting in the third race.
There's no doubt he's a good racer. It's just that the whole package around him is, they got some success. They were leading the championships at one point, and then everything just started going to shit for them, whether it was mechanical issues or crashes or something they could control, which is their fucking strategist.
I know, it's fucking stupid. If Ferrari, if you're listening, I'll strategize for you at half of whatever you're paying the current guy, because I'm sure it's a lot of money still. And I will sign a contract immediately. I will quit whatever job I'm about to start, and I'll go wherever you need me. But I will strategize for you. I'm going to start with really talking to the drivers that are on the race course and finding out how they're feeling in their current situation, and then building the strategy around that, versus what I have written down on paper, having no experience driving in an F1 race myself.
don't know, but it's also easier to say like, I mean, I hate to play like Monday morning pit strategist, if you will, but like when you're watching the races and it's like the last race with like the hard tires, like nobody started on it, and the people that were on them were complaining about them.
Alonso didn't do well on them, and if Alonso knows how to drive a car. It's not like if they had Lance Stroll have him on there or Nikita Mazepin and he fucking spun out or something. That'd be completely different. It was Alonso.
No, it's fucking it's Ferrari. It's out of the way on the highway.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been that has been hard to watch. Currently, the way that it stands, I think that they think that Max has just been running away with the championships. I really don't. I mean, at this point, I think he's 70 points adrift. So unless Red Bull really started fucking some shit up, and I mean, not them, they're kicking ass and they're fucking shit up. I mean, if they hire Ferrari's pit strategist over the fucking break, I think Ferrari had a really good chance. I think they let it go. And I think that it's going to come down to the drivers championship is I think going to go to Red Bull, and then I bet that it is a 2 or 3 way constructors title fight.
I'm just saying, like you can claim not being a Monday morning pitch strategist, but it's different than like watching like a baseball or a football game. You're like, you shouldn't have thrown that pass, because there's a lot of like you're not seeing what the guy's seeing. When we're watching Formula One, the driver is telling us that his tires are good. He is putting consistent greens on even the many sectors on the course. And they're like, no. We have just achieved 30 seconds ahead of the guy in front of us and behind us. We will pit now.
Yeah.
And it's like while he's trying to pass somebody, I think it was when they tried to bring Carlos Sainz in when he was in the middle of battling with Sergio Perez. And it's like, are you not paying attention to what the fuck's happening on the screen right now? Like, give this another lap or two. Your gap's not going to go away.
That's going to go away. They worship the gap, man. As soon as they get the gap, they fucking dive for the pits.
Yeah,
it's like they can't help it. They're like a heroin addict or something.
Their only play is doing the undercut. That's the only thing that they try to go
overcut
once they have the overcut, once they have the 30-second gap, and then it's like everyone sees that. So Red Bull's like, okay, they're 25 seconds ahead, so I'm gonna pit right now then, because guess what? When they have a 5-second gap, automatically they're coming in.
Well, it was just like watching 2 or 3 years ago, even just last year. Mercedes had the Ferrari pit strategy down to a fucking T, to the point where they could go on the radio and say, hey, Lewis, we predict that Ferrari's going to pit in the next 12 to 15 laps. And sure as shit, fucking 13, 14 laps later, they're pitting. And it's just, when you're that predictable, people will immediately be able to take advantage of that. And we are seeing that, while watching the races now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can.
Do you guys hear those dogs barking?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
So it's been exciting watching as a Red Bull fan, seeing Max take off and like is at this point. Now I'm not going to say anything to jinx him, but it's looking good at this point that he would retain the championship.
Don't give him the commentator's curse.
As things are going, we're only with 8 races left. There's anything could happen still, right?
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of racing to have, a lot of points to be had.
But it is hard to watch for Ferrari to see them be ahead like they were, and then just have it all get away from them. And then in the same vein, it's also
it is
kind of exciting to see Mercedes come from where they were at the start of the season to where they are now.
Yeah. Especially like I'm not even a fan. I just kind of view them as like they're to me they're the Yankees. They're the evil empire. I don't. I don't. Wow. They're too strong. They're too strong.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And then
the Yankees
but
are the
them
evil empire just got swept by the Cardinals, but whatever.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Anywho, uh, with them starting the season off so god awful and just looking like just dog shit, and both mostly Hamilton just sucking up and complaining the whole time. Russell did well, but what as good as you can ask for in the shit box they were driving.
Mhm.
But now to see them fighting back and getting back up into the top three again and like and secure, yeah, they're looking real good, and that's cool to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now we're going to move on to some light predictions for next half of the season. So these aren't like our full analytical predictions for the next half. It's just kind of us bullshitting and talking about, what's going to happen. Like,
to be fair, none of us we're nothing super analytical here either.
No.
So yeah, well, like I said, we're going to be doing our light predictions. Now these are subject to change. These are based off of just what we saw last season, where we think people are going to finish, where it's going to go. Yeah. Or sorry, I keep saying season. I mean like break, like pre-break and post-break.
Yeah.
So PB and PB. That's kind of how it works. But yeah.
Go
so
PB1 to PB2.
Yeah, I think for one think that the grid is still so I was gonna say like it's still probably gonna be a Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari heavy podium.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ferrari is gonna start to tumble in the second half because they were strong and they're stagnant, and now they're moving slowly out of the podium. Like instead of getting first, second, they're getting like
and nothing third. Needs to change.
And nothing needs to change. They're doing a perfect job, so it's something else.
I can't wait to see that final points battle between like the two Ferraris and the two Aston Martins. It's gonna be so fun to watch.
The Williams.
Yeah, so it's just ridiculous. Like Carlos Sainz is racing against Nicholas Latifi and the Williams for 17th place.
I really think unless Ferrari gets DNFs, like for the rest, like the last 9 races, unless that happens and the best of the rest really fucking get their shit together, I don't think Ferrari is going to get lower than third because Alpine's like 170 points away from, and their drivers would have to get 1-2 like the rest of the fucking season.
Yeah. So yeah, that I mean, I see him finishing third if I had to really cut down the trend not happening right now.
Sure, they could get their shit together and they could get their pit strategy figured out and they could get 1-2s for the rest of the season. But do I see that happening? No. Is there a chance? Sure. But is it likely? No.
No.
Forever
especially when you got Mercedes like trudging away, picking at it little by little, making their way up the grid, just looking better and better each weekend. So, I mean, Ferrari's either they're going to have to pull out some magic or they're going to be third place. Again,
100%.
I will say that it is exciting to see them, okay, not exciting, but like I said in the last segment, like seeing Mercedes come back from where they were. I'm happy about that. But like I wish George Russell would dial it back a notch. Anytime a racing incident happens, he's just like, well, he hit me. It was blatantly obvious that he hit me and it was his fault. And this is not my fault and I'm perfect and everything's fine.
Well, where do you think he learned that from?
His teammate Williams.
First things first, blame it on the other guy.
Yeah.
Blame it on the other guy.
Yeah, Hamilton. Oh, I was ahead in that corner. No, you weren't.
Yeah. And Leclerc passes him in the same, or he passes Leclerc in the same time. Same corner.
You have a vision problem, sir.
Or like at the season finale when he like cut that corner and had a huge advantage and they didn't do anything about it. All right, we're not talking about that shit
anymore. Jesus. It's in the past.
Didn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Man, I was robbed. Fuck you. It was made even. Fucking shut up. So yeah. Anyway, my predictions, I think that we're going to see Red Bull still on top. I'm willing to, they might fuck up tires or something. I bet Max DNFs at least one more time.
Really?
Perez, I think maybe whether it's a wreck or a pop tire or something, just something.
Mm-hmm. I'd say the chances went down this year over last year because he's driving more with his head now, I think, than he used to.
Yeah, he's not as spunky.
I think whatever it is, it'll be beyond his control. Whether it's like it rains in somewhere and then he gets wrecked into by somebody.
Right.
But something out of his control. Not he spun it too fast going into a corner or something like that. And then, I'd like to see Perez win another race or two. It'd be really cool to see him win in Mexico as his home GP.
Oh, yeah, that would be. I'm rooting for him in that race for sure.
Yeah. And then maybe just some balls out, none fucks given driving from Sebastian Vettel would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll do that though.
No.
Last time he will. I'm just saying. No.
I would like to see some old Vettel out on the track. That'd be cool. The guy that would push you out of the way if you passed messages.
him. Yeah.
He was such a fucking prick back in the day. He was. You get mad at like George Russell for doing what he's doing. Vettel was worse.
Yeah. Or like when
he was fucking annoying. There was a time when I actively hated Vettel. I was like, I fucking hate you. You're a terrible person. You're a piece of shit.
And then he left Red Bull and went to Ferrari.
Well, I really was pissed off at that because at that point he took Fernando Alonso's seat out of Ferrari, if I remember correctly. And I was really bummed out because right before that they had Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa were Ferrari, and I fucking loved that duo. And then Vettel got to Ferrari, and I was really fucking pissed off about it. And then, that's around the time the Vettel started turning into, Jesus and making everyone like he's being nice to everyone. And I was like, oh, he's not that bad of a guy.
He matured a bit after his fourth fucking championship.
He was a fucking prick though for a while.
Yeah. So, and then maybe some exciting back market racing. A few of those guys have like, they'll get contract extensions, but they need to prove it. So,
right.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
So yeah, we're going to see some risky driving out of some people now.
We'll see. And then it never fails, but Lance Stroll will have some real fucking cringy and funny.
Yeah, I can't wait to think of more ways, like abstract ways that Lawrence is like using to justify his son's existence in the sport. Like he might have cost us $3 million, but he holds the steering wheel very firmly but gentle. Yeah. I don't know.
As long as he has a pack of hot dogs.
Fernando Alonso, our championship winning co-driver, said he can handle the steering wheel like he's never seen before. So he's in good hands and has a bright future.
Our number 2 former world champion. number two former world champion.
One day Stroll will be out.
I don't know why they don't fucking Stroll
will be out there when Lawrence buys like the next team up the grid. Yeah, it's like he'll be out of there once like Lawrence Stroll ponies up enough money to buy.
I don't hear you guys. I don't hear you guys at all.
That is why people don't like nepotism.
I didn't hear you guys at all.
It is my father owns this, therefore I get it. And I'm dealing with that at my current work. And it's awful. But it's not my problem for a few more days.
Yeah. Anywho, Dave, what do you think? What's your wild predictions?
Well, not sure what you guys said the last 30 seconds because it wasn't in there. I didn't hear any of it. So,
well, it's probably for the best.
What
was the last thing you heard?
I don't remember now. I was doing this, but You guys kept talking. I said,
well,
I can't
that's
hear
because
you.
last week I thought you were fucking doing the cutoff and you were doing a beard
Well,
itch. So you need to have something different.
I even said I can't hear you guys. Anywho, my predictions. Well, I don't know. I think Mercedes is on an uptick, so we'll see them continue to go up. I think as long as I think they're going to continue to keep fighting. They're going to do well. Red Bull, I think, is on a great track, barring some kind of massive power unit failure that's comes up or something. I don't think they're going to have many issues with the rest of the season. Max is trudging away, just running away with the championship. So I continue to see that. I see that trend keep going. Let's see, middle of the pack. I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness happening with Alpine right now. So who knows where their season's going to go. Aston Martin, same. They're not going to do anything. I'm looking to see Haas be more solid in the second half.
Yeah, let's see Mick with some more points.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I see them coming through because they still got some upgrades coming, I think, too.
Yeah.
But
they still got an engine failure coming. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
in Spa, I guarantee that it's gonna be that they're gonna have an engine failure in Spa. I think it's gonna be Magnussen.
That's a tough course, and that'll test the engine. So we will see. We will see. But those are my predictions. That nothing serious. I just kind of see the trends happening and kind of staying the way they are. And like Jake said, I think Ferrari's going to continue to tank their season because nothing needs to change.
Nothing needs to change. They're doing perfectly.
If nothing else about Ferrari, they're consistent. They're really good about fucking shit up.
Yeah, you are not wrong. They are very consistent. I fucking love how consistent they are.
At being shit right now.
I'm just saying, like, come on, man. The writing's on the wall. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah, there's, usually.
But it's in a language that their strategist can't comprehend.
Yeah, well, it's like every other sport I've seen, the manager would have been fired by now.
And Ferrari usually does that. They've been going through managers like fucking crazy the last 5 years.
Let's say, what is this? Binotto's fifth year with Ferrari?
Third or fourth, maybe.
I think it's his third year.
Third,
yeah.
Whatever the first year that the Netflix series started, I think it was his first year.
Was his first year
before him?
That's what we were going on for. I don't know. But yeah, so time will tell. We shall see. But
yeah,
as far as the summer break goes, we moving on. We have seen what some of the drivers have been up to, and suffice it to say, it is exactly what you would expect a millionaire, top of the line, world class race car driver to be up to. There was like a photo of George Russell, like laying down, and he was, wearing some kind of towel, robe, shirt, dress, skirt thing. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on there. But I was looking in the background of that photo, like in the view that he's like, obviously posed there. It's like on his back, like checking it out. It's like a fucking vineyard. So wherever he's at in that casual clothing, that just means one thing: expensive. Because you don't go to the winery, it's already expensive in a fucking towel. You're staying there for some reason. You got some kind of spa retreat or something like that. So he's, spending trillions of dollars and stupid shit on shit that the normal person will never do. Charles Leclerc is swimming near his home on a boat that looks more expensive than some of the more expensive houses in St. Louis, and there's some big ones. Yeah. And he had like this one shot of him in just his swim trunks, walking up the side of the boat, and I knew it was a stage photo because one, he's dry. Two, he's got a super expensive watch on, and it's
Who is this again?
Leclerc. It's only worse if he is wearing that watch while he swims because he either A, doesn't care about it, or B, it's a dive watch, which instantly adds like $300 to the price of a watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure whatever's on his wrist is probably in the thousands, not a couple.
They probably didn't pay for it. It's probably like a sponsorship, Tig Heuer or whatever is giving him a watch.
Yeah, Richard Mill or whatever. Millie.
No, Tig Heuer is giving the Red Bull guys watches.
Oh. Who else did I see? I saw
Daniel Ricciardo's got a picture of him in a poolside somewhere, and there's palm trees in the background. So
yeah, that might be California.
I think he lives near. I think he's got another home near Los Angeles because he seems to be there a lot. And so that automatically makes it expensive as shit. And the bottle of water he was probably drinking off of was like $100, and
it's pure pH balanced water. Lando Norris is on a private jet, expensive,
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton is tracing his family roots through Africa, not cheap. Probably
is he
really
doing
expensive.
that for real?
Yeah, he was
just.
I've seen a bunch of pictures of him in Africa. Yeah.
So
I don't know what exactly he's doing.
I didn't dig into it. I just saw a bunch of pictures of him on a 4-wheeler and thought he was having some fun at the dunes.
Yeah, he was in Africa because Africa is a lot of desert.
Fucking Namibia or some shit.
Yes.
I don't know. The Sahara is huge.
It has to be nearly insurmountably difficult to trace your lineage back to Africa if you're African American or African. What do they call it in Britain? African British or whatever, Afro British. I don't know.
Black.
But it's got to be super fucking hard because at a certain so you can trace yourself back, but at a certain point, people didn't care where you came from, just where you were going if you were African American because the slave trade was so intense. And there's you just come from the continent, Like I talked to this one guy back home I used to work with, and he was able to trace his ancestors back to the port they came over on in the boat.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was like in Richmond, Virginia or something, which I'm not surprised about. But anyway, it was like the farthest you could trace back. But beyond that, it was like not happening.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool that he's doing that and figuring that all out. Hopefully,
I imagine he's probably got some of his family with him too, and Valtteri Bottas probably has his ass hanging out somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, he looked.
He's riding bikes somewhere.
Pretty dusty with his woman.
Ooh.
Or mom, sister. I guess it doesn't have to be some kind of relation. It could be any, whatever.
That's all that I've really seen as far as what people were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too. Albon was golfing.
Oh, nice.
Hit the links.
He's got that contract extension. He can afford it.
Well, he's not hitting the Fiddler's Green, so he's probably somewhere expensive.
No kidding. Fiddler's Green is a cheap golf course from
it's super cheap.
So.
It's a golf course you can rent clubs at, if that tells you anything.
You can rent clubs at most golf courses.
You can rent clubs at a lot of golf courses.
It is all par threes at this golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's just a par 3 course. That's not like a true golf course.
Yeah.
All right, fuck you, Dave. It was fun when we did it.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just a par 3 course. You can play that in a couple hours.
What do you mean? This is the kind of golf course a single dad would take his 2 kids. Is that a problem, Dave?
That's exactly what our single dad.
Well, that's the perfect golf course for a single dad to take his 2 kids.
Right. There might have been a driving range attached to the golf course, but fuck you.
Yeah, it's smaller for kids and it's better. Yeah, it works.
It wasn't a putt course.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Use your chips.
It was the golf equivalent to a putt course.
Yeah, it's like golfing as putting courses you can get in a golf course. I don't know. All right. Well, I think with that, we are going to go ahead and close this out. This has been kind of a light taste. No, not taste. Light. It's a sandwich. It's like a turkey and cheese sandwich for your lunch. It's like a triangle sandwich with no crust. It's a little snack
on white bread.
This was a low ABV 16-ounce can of beer. This was a
session beer.
I don't know. We got a lot of info
in there, but there wasn't a whole lot of punch to it.
Yeah, not a whole bunch of punch. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is no race to talk about. We're in the middle of a 4-week dry spell of racing, so it's like, let's talk about the news.
It's awful.
Let's try to be upbeat. Yeah, no, it does suck. It was like I wanted to watch racing this weekend, but nothing there.
No, you can't do it. You have to watch a replay or something. But
yeah, I guess I could go back and watch some archived races and such.
Just watch the first 2 races over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Ferrari season.
This is the best season ever.
I'm gonna give myself some hope for the second half.
All right, you bastards. Well, this has been the Tire Preference Podcast. I have been Jake. I'm sitting here with Tyler and Dave as always, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, keep within track limits.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, just hit the gas, don't stop, just spin out into that corner, and they'll take you off
in the ambulance, yeah,
no.
or helicopter if it's bad enough.
Unless it's in France, in which case it's a mile long from when you spun off to
Right.
Where your car stops, and they'll just roll you around the corners.
Such a fucking weird course.
Well, I agree with Tyler. Up until you start seeing those braking markers, and then you got to hit your braking points, making sure you're not slamming into walls. People, come on,
You don't want to do any of that.
slow it down sometimes.
Right. Well, you can find me at the it's time for the social media plug. You can find me at the Red Kennedy 45 on Instagram. You can find me at the Red Kennedy on Twitter. I have not been on either one of those platforms for a while now. You can find the podcast at the Preference Pod on Twitter, which I also
have been doing that. Oh, Jesus Christ!
I have. I don't ever think about going on Twitter. I forget Twitter exists.
Start thinking about it. Our fans are depending on you.
I'm gonna go on. There's gonna be like 3 followers. It's gonna be us that are significant others, 6 people. And I know we've said this a lot, but we've officially had another talk about getting put on a streaming website. Jesus Christ, can't even fucking talk now. So yeah, stay tuned for more information on that. We'll tell you later when we forget, and then tell you again. So I'm going to shoot over to Tyler for his social media plugs.
You can find me at t.k.66 on Instagram. I keep wanting to say at somewhere else, but that's my email address, so I don't want to.
Don't put that out there.
I seldom post, but I see everything people post. Yes, to backpack on what Jake was saying, we are still working out the details of Podbean stuff. Until then, we're just on the current platforms, but we will keep everyone posted when stuff begins to happen.
Yes.
Then I'll pass it over to Dave.
All right. Well, I will say, first of all, stuff is beginning to happen because I'm going to experiment with putting this out on this episode. So hopefully
this episode.
You might be listening to this on a new platform. We'll see how it works out. But other than that, you can find me at
which is funny that this is at the end of the episode. Look out for this episode on cloud. They're gonna watch it on YouTube and be like, God damn it, or they're gonna watch it on something else and be like,
it's an experiment. It's an experiment. Anywho. Oh yeah, maybe I'll put a little disclaimer at the beginning if it works out. We'll see.
We'll just drop links,
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me Maximo_Dave Instagram, and featuring Friday on Instagram as well. Follow me and my wife around the country.
Yes, do that.
All for.
Yep. And go look at Schnickel Fritz on YouTube for video game content that Dave and I did when we were younger and drinking. And by younger, I mean 2 years, I think, ago was the last video you posted.
Oh man, it's been that. Yeah, it's probably been a little while, so we got to get back on that shit.
We got to get back on that shit. Well, thanks again for listening to the Tire Preference Podcast. It's been another fun week, so we'll hit you next week. This is the dry. This is the terrible. This is the worst. This is you're at the party and you've just run out of beer and you're looking for a sober driver to take you back to the store. It's the shitty part of the night, and this is where we're at on the F1 calendar because we have 3 more weeks before we get back to racing. God help us all.
But this is the drunk part of the night when you're waiting in the drive-thru. You can't move. Yep. I can't talk. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is the part of the night where you need to run to the store to get beer, and the only person who can drive is the guy that you're like kind of friends with, but you really find him really annoying, and he talks a lot. Like he talks at you while you're in the car, and you were a little out of town, so it's probably like 15 or 20-minute trip into the grocery store.
No, it's not really a 15 or 20-minute trip to the grocery store. It's a 2 to 3 dubstep song to the grocery store. That's all I listen to on the way.
It's a long time, and he wants to talk to you about like really deep stuff, and you're like, you start. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to be for forever. It's just a quick ride. We're just all it is.
Right.
It's
He's like. And that's why I don't go to the post office anymore, because of those stamps. Here's where the bass drops. Listen for it.
No.
So yeah, that's why I don't go to the post office anymore.
No, man, no. You're gonna love this song. Just this part right here. Just listen.
Let it flow through you. Just let it go.
I think I found the new tune for the closer and intro. Little dubstep action.
God help us all.
We'll be back with something else next week. It could be
something else. Who knows what's going to happen? Also, disclaimer: David's the one that chooses all the music. Tyler and I don't know what he's going to put at the beginning and the end until we listen to the episode.
Yeah.
All right, you bastards. Thanks for listening.
Complete surprise until you guys actually hear it.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Right. This again has been the Tire Preference Podcast. Share with friends, and we'll shout you out. So,
we'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
Peace out. Love you guys.